Jamal Sai, and I'm a member of Group 2, and today I'll be talking to you about the second presentation on our product for this module. So, today we'll be discussing the concept origination development and the project plan that you should be able to foresee over the next few weeks. So, concept origination we'll start with. So, some of the things that we wanted to hit initially was the simple everyday use and convenience of a product. So before we even had the actual idea of the phone accessory, the idea was always to keep it as an everyday kind of item, to increase our demographic, to increase the audience, and potentially widen the market of people that we could approach for this kind of product. So that was a huge step into the direction we wanted to take. And then it came to convenient. We wanted the product to be small, something handheld, again, something that wouldn't require a lot of material or would require, a cheap material, easily malleable, so that not only do we spend less on it, but we can also afford more competitive prices into the market along with our competitors. And that kind of led us to the multi-purpose car accessory, because one, it is an everyday use item. Everyone at this age is going to work, they're going to college, and this is something that anybody could use in their car. That would always be a benefit to anyone. I don't think it's ever hindering anybody being there. And it's convenient in the sense that it's also very easy to use. There's no 10-page manual on how to use or install a simple phone holder and glasses holder. It's a very straightforward adhesive onto the dashboard, and within a few steps you can have that installed. So it's a very easy to use, simple product, which hit our main components that we kind of wanted to fit in our product. So that was the original concept development. And then when we came to the project planning, now this, as directed by our lecturer, would be split up into 5 stages. So, as you've already seen in last week's presentation, we went over stage 1, which is the overview, the market research, potential problems that your product would be filling, and of course the product design specification. So, a lot of the things that covered, who our competitors are, who our market is, and how much would we be selling it for? Is it competitive? Are we selling it cheaper than our competition or more expensive? Can we afford to? Do we have that niche? And things like the dimensions of the product. Do we have that in place? What materials are we using? And the likes of. And then stage 2 is basically what I'm doing here, talking about the concept origination and the project planning. Later on, after this slide, we have a Gantt chart that I'll talk to you about in a second. And stage 3, you should be hoping to look forward to next week. That'll focus more on the actual design of the product. So currently we're toying with 3 concepts at the moment, but this will have a narrowed down design that we are going to stick with throughout, and more information on that in that week's presentation. Because of the new and improved products that we are actually going to use now that we have the design set in stone at that stage, there will be an update in the actual project plan, so that will also be discussed in that week. And then for the second week coming, we have the actual report on design specification. So what that means is, now that we have a design that we are running with, we are going to have specific design specifications for it, the actual dimensions, what materials we're using, what suppliers we're going to, who is going to mass produce it, how we're going to actually get it onto the floor. That will all be discussed in stage 4. And then finally, stage 5, the life cycle analysis, so how our product actually performs in the environment that we have set it in. Initially bringing out our product to a few people, a small sample size who can kind of give us a little feedback on our product. And then from there, we figure out how we're going to launch it based off the capital that we have. Are we going to go to a GoFundMe page, or Indiegogo, something similar of that kind, where we can have people donate as individual investors that don't need a lot of commitment, that they can just come in and put whatever they think they have to support this idea. So that's another thing to think about. And then finally, when we do get the product on into the next stage, advertising, how are we going to entice our consumers? What is it that are they actually looking for? How much money are we going to put into that? And then finally, and then stage 3, where our product sales are at its peak. This is a wave that we have ridden. We need to focus on the cash that we are actually gaining from this at the moment, because from here now it's going to be a slow and steady decline. Stage 4 then around that time is going to be not necessarily a decline in the complete sale of the product per se, but it's time for certain product design people to actually figure out, do we need a new product? Do we need something that is the 2.0 version of it next year? Do we need to keep that interest going, or is it a product that can keep the same designs for years to come? And finally, then it's sell off, when the product is no longer selling, do we go and put in a final cash injection for advertising and just sell off our remaining assets to just liquidize and keep as much cash as possible? So just a quick run through the Gantt chart. As you can see here, we have a couple of things that we've finished, and so far everything is going according to schedule. We are currently at the end of week 8, so we should be looking forward to the likes of the design concepts and design evaluation, which you'll be seeing in the next few weeks. And so that concludes the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need to contact me, or if you have any other questions, please do so at 1826-1809 @studentmail.ul.ie. Thanks.